What's the dumbest reason you ever got hurt? My brother had a turtle. He would take it out of its pen from time to time and let it roam the yard. I watched it chomp on some grass. I picked it up and was feeding it grass, amazed at how clean it chopped the grass. So I stuck my finger in its mouth. Turn out it hurts really bad. I didn't want to hurt the guy, so I had to suffer through it until he let go. He pulled his head into his shell, so I couldn't pull my finger out. Finally he let go. Long story short, don't stick your fingers where you wouldn't stick your dinghy. Edit. I was 17 when this happened. I used to have 2 small parrotlet birds. The one was sweet as pie. The other not so much. When he bit you couldn't move an inch. Dude was so small and light. That slightest movement could snap his neck. So yeah, you just had to take it until he let go. Arg, that shit hurts. Not as bad as that. But one of my geckos got very angry with me when I had to move house for the 2nd time in 2 weeks. He managed to find a spot with thinner skin on my knuckle and actually drew a little blood. I had to sit still while he took out his aggression on my hand for fear of ripping his teeth out. This is the same gecko that gave me a 7-inch scar when he flung himself out of the tank, and scraped the inside of my arm on the corner of the glass door to catch him. He's an asshole, but I love him. Don't worry, one day he'll pay you back by helping you save 15% or more on your car insurance. I cut myself by eating a round candy. I've done that. I felt stupid too. I once kissed a reflection of myself on the outside of a metal toaster while in use, and seriously burned my lips. Technically my first kiss. In the machine shop in college, a guy had just finished welding a piece and decided it was cool enough to touch. I don't know why. It was flaming red 5 seconds ago. Takes off his gloves and grabs the vice handle with one hand and the part with the other. Burned the absolute piss out of himself. The shop soup comes over, had a look around, and then like a disappointed parent says, "Hot metal looks just like cold metal, don't it?" Absolutely savage, and the guy was lucky to get away with just some burn cream and a bandage. Pro tip: welding gloves are not for welding. They are for the stupid things you do 5 seconds after welding when the metal stops glowing. My glove is smoking an awful lot. Maybe I should put this back down. Apostrophe. If your glove starts feeling warm from the inside, it's time to stop touching whatever you're touching. And also take the glove off, because in about 3 seconds the inside of the glove is going to start burning your hand. I closed the trunk door of my car on my nose. Still wondering how I managed to do that. Now that is impressive. I've gotten fingers jammed in a locked car door, but I'm having trouble visualizing how you got your nose stuck in a trunk lid. Seriously, I couldn't do it again even if I tried. Don't try it again, PLS. I put on a Tigger costume when I was little and thought I could bounce on his tail, jumped off my dresser and broke my tailbone. I did something slightly similar. I jumped off the top of my bunk bed and tried to swing around a ceiling fan. I blame misinforming children's television, lol. Seriously, I thought if they could do it, I could do it, hahaha. Circle birthday cake. I lit the candles on the outside first. Burnt my wrist/forearms trying to light the candles in the middle. This wins. Probably not the most painful, but definitely the dumbest bonus points if you just gritted your teeth and finished lighting the candles. I dunno, man. I got ran over by a car that I was driving. Yikes, man. That happened to my boss at a landscaping job. Truck left in reverse. She tried to hop and to stop it. Got stuck on the wheel and thrown to the ground. Broke her pelvis in 3 places. I felt pretty silly putting a band-aid on a scrape she got while she literally couldn't walk. Incidentally, I'm unemployed. Powdered Drano, shredded aluminum foil, rubbing alcohol, and a match. Set my 12-year-old head on fire. Jesus. I hope you didn't get hurt too bad. One time my brother lit my hair on fire, but he did me the favor of slapping out the flames. When I turned and said, "Why does my head feel warm?" Biggest loss was the thin mustache puberty had given me. Sad to see it burned off. People pay for that in Turkey. First time I went to the Turkish barber that opened near me, I nearly shat myself when he whipped out the flaming stick. In a bad mood one morning at work. Went to take a shit. First wipe. The toilet paper hangs up on the dispenser and won't tear. I mutter, "Oh, goddamn it," and give it a vigorous yank. Of course the toilet paper rips. And I've done it with enough force where I punch myself in the face and give myself a spectacular bloody nose. That's some pretty stout toilet paper. Did it have a picture of a lumberjack on the package? Public service announcement: never use paper towels as toilet paper. It will damage your plumbing and cause havoc at the sewage plant. Tested to see how sharp a knife was with my finger. I know someone who had to get stitches doing that. I told him he only got one free ride to the hospital for stupid. Close bracket. Did the same with my mum's razor. I wonder what would happen if I ran my finger over it. Leaned too far back with my chair and past the point of no return. This is what the teachers had been warning us about for years. A few years ago I woke up, went to the bathroom, and was wiping my ass when I pulled my neck. Still not sure how, but it happened. I just felt a pull and had an enormous pain. Went to the doctor who gave me anti-inflammatory injections and had to use a collar for a week. And I used to tell people I fall. I had the opposite. During a large BM, my back, which had been aching for days, actually popped and stopped hurting afterwards. I sneezed and it completely realigned my spine. Most satisfying sneeze ever. Sneeze is back. CCCRRRRCCKKK. Pretty much. It cracked from my neck all the way down. It stunned me for a second. Lol. Tent collapsed when I was like 4 and somehow I managed to break my leg in there. Congrats, you have made me spend 30 minutes of my life trying to figure out how the fuck that is possible. Lmfao. I'm still confused to this day. Just like my parents. When people ask how did I broke my leg, my parents make some shit up so it doesn't sound dumb. Still funny though. I cut myself on my carpet. To this day I still have no idea how it happened. Probably like a single carpet tack nail sticking up through the carpet. Maybe. I couldn't find anything, so maybe I just need to mow the carpet. Don't forget to vacuum the lawn. I was playing dodgeball in middle school when a ball flew near my leg. You see, it landed about 4 feet away from me, but that didn't stop me from overreacting. My leg kind of spazzed out and I ended up kneeing myself in the face while I had braces on. I cut up the inside of my mouth, swelled up my lips, and lied to the nurse and just said that I got hit by a ball. I have a similar story. We were playing a variation of dodgeball where you lay on the ground when you're hit and someone in your team has to raise you. I was getting rest and so I was getting up just as I saw a ball coming towards me. So I quickly went back down to dodge it. It turns out the ground was a lot closer than I thought. So I bashed the side of my head into the ground pretty hard. Oh god, the times I bash my heads. One time I genuinely bashed my head on my table cause I was tired of school. Everyone looked at me and I thought to myself, that was fucking stupid, or just me walking into stuff with my head and cursing everything. I threw a stick into the sea, wanted the stick back, and sliced my foot open on some oysters, down to bone. Edit. First gold and most up dudes for young me for being a dumbus. Thanks Reddit. Wanted the stick back. This is what happens when you get shellfish. Get out. r/angry upvote. When I was like 10 years, I found a box cutter in a drawer and wanted to see how sharp it was. I decided the best way to do that was to cut across the palm of my hand. It was sharp. I don't remember how painful it was, but I remember staring at my hand for a few seconds before the blood started to pour out. How do you explain that to your parents? Don't remember. TBH. But I didn't tell them the truth, I'm sure. I did something similar. But I did tell my parents. I found a broken bottle in the garage and wondered if it would really cut me. It did. When I told them my reasoning, they just shook their heads and handed me a band-aid. I walked into a door forgetting to actually open it. Resulted in a bloody nose. Happened to me twice. In my defense, it was night and dark. Why do people just walk so confidently in the dark? I always find myself walking like a zombie. Mayo. You should try it. It's thrilling. Yeah. You feel invincible. Right up to the door. Age 3, we were visiting my mum's hometown in England to see relatives when a black wasp or something managed to get in my sock, and my mum put the socks on me. It stung me for a good 2 minutes straight, and even though I was so young, I will never forget how painful it was and how guilty my mum felt that she didn't check the sock. Wasps are awful. The only time I've ever been stung by a wasp I was literally in a doctor's office. The nurse was about to give me a vaccination. And as she was preparing it, the wasp came through the window. And we both stood up to get away from it. The striped bastard hid for long enough that we thought it had left without us seeing. Then as I took a step back to my chair, it got me on the back of the knee. And then flew right out the window. As I'd never been stung before, she couldn't give me the jab because she wanted to know if I had a bad reaction, whether it was a reaction to the jab or the sting. Sensible, but inconvenient. As a kid, I was running through the woods and ran near an earth wasp's nest because I wasn't aware of it and got stung by 7 wasps at the same time. It was horrible. So glad I'm not allergic. Now I'm terrified of wasps. Edit. Spelling. My dad ran on _1 once and got stung by the entire nest. Okay, wait, not the entire nest, about 100. Edit. Wait a hot diddly darn second, Google says you can get killed by 40 stings, that liar _ once he got swarmed, I'm sure it felt like 100. Horrifying. I had never seen a lacrosse ball. Didn't realize it was so bouncy and heavy. Threw it at the ground at my feet. It bounced up and hit me right in the nostrils. Blood everywhere and a newfound respect for the bouncy ball of death. Got hit on the head by lacrosse ball, no helmet, when I first started playing, but I have already destroyed all the nerves on my head by my various acts of idiocy over the years, so it didn't hurt that much. I fractured 2 metatarsals in my foot and currently I'm in a boot riding an e-scooter. I was walking. Just walking. Not running. Not playing sports. Not kicking a rock. Just walking. I was born with glass bones and paper skin. I lie awake at night and wait for my heart attacks to put me to sleep. You probably. Do you want to buy some chocolate? Chocolate. Hey, I wanna buy all your chocolate. I was making caramel by melting sugar in a pan. As it was cooling down, I was wondered if it solidified already, so I poked it with my finger. Second-degree burns are not fun. First thing I learnt in commercial kitchens. Sugar can burn the devil. Sugar is actually even worse than oil because of how it behaves on surfaces. You know, like your skin. Popular choice in prison. You're shitting me. Where are they doing that shit? Broke my ankle in 2 places rolling a 4-wheeler after drinking. Yeah. Probably shouldn't drink and drive anything. That's what makes it so stupid. True. True. Getting run over by 1,000 pounds of water jugs on a pallet while working a couple years ago. It took my toenail off, but didn't break the bone. I'm glad it wasn't too serious. I feel like I'd rather have a broken toe than a ripped off toenail. But perhaps I've seen too many movies where they rip off people's toenails as a form of torture and I go, damn, that looks awful. When I was in high school, I accidentally ripped my pinky nail off. I don't remember how. I just remember looking at it and then at my friends who were staring at me with horror and saying, huh. I was led to believe that would hurt more. My fingertips have never been very sensitive. I don't know why. Close bracket. I have ripped a few nails off and comparatively I barely even felt it when my pinky nail was ripped off. Both on my foot and hand. I broke my foot while putting on pants. My dumb moment is pretty close. I was taking off my pants when I scratched my leg. It was at least 5 centimeters long and I had to get stitches. LMAO. Were your pants made of knives? I broke my kneecap sledding on an inflatable woman. To us, college and Meat Frap was a ridiculous individual with exceptionally poor judgment. Meat Frap and his roommates decided to go drunken sledding in the middle of the night and grabbed whatever objects they had lying around that could serve as improvised sleds. This included trays that had been liberated from the dining hall, a Rubbermaid trash can lid, and Bridget, an inflatable companion originally purchased as a gag gift that had become the dorm room. Mascot. The snow on the hill had been soft during the day, and those sledding pioneers who had come before us had packed it all down and constructed a formidable jump, which by midnight had, along with the rest of the hill, frozen rock solid. Meat Frap climbed atop Bridget, whispered something sweet into her latex ear, and let gravity take over. Let it be known that an inflatable woman makes an extremely fast and surprisingly stable sled. As Meat Frap encountered the jump at an impressive speed, the curvature of his path required an equally impressive centripetal force. The magnitude of this force was, unfortunately, much more than Bridget's delicate Chinese vinyl seams could withstand. She loudly popped and rapidly deflated, just as meat frap and a now limp Bridget left the lip of the jump and began a parabolic path like a ruffian home run. Meat frap, knowing that his flaccid sledding partner would provide no cushioning whatsoever, attempted to maneuver into a position that might minimize the violence of the impending impact, but his efforts were futile. He landed kneecap first, exploding his patella into a multitude of fragments, a most unpleasant feeling. Not the worst thing to come from riding a woman. I got run over by a hayride. I feel like I need to hear the rest of the story. Like, what were you doing in front of a hayride? Was there a horse? Did it get spooked? What happened? No horse. It was pulled by a tractor. Don't stick your arms and legs off the ride. The tractor was backing up, and I was sitting at the back of the ride with my legs hanging off when the trailer's wheels went into a ditch. My left leg got caught under, but I wasn't too worried and just tried to pull it out. No luck. The wheels went deeper into the ditch and suddenly my leg was pressed into the gravel as the ride continued to back up. My leg was dragged along through the rocks until I fell off and started getting sucked under the ride. People were screaming, but the driver couldn't hear them because of how loud the tractor was. Plus he was wearing hearing protection. Luckily the driver stopped before I actually got run over by the wheels, but my entire calf had been scraped raw and I had 3 hairline fractures along with a deep laceration on the side of my leg. I spent about 2 weeks on crutches and it was close to 3 weeks before I could get in the river again. My leg got infected when I eventually did. All in all, it's actually a pretty humorous experience that my friends love hearing about. Not too many people are dumb enough to get run over by a hayride that's moving at about 5 miles per hour. It's actually a pretty humorous experience. There's nothing humorous about leg injuries. Acted on a call of the void and put my hand into a toaster. I told my parents I fell and the hand landed in the toaster. I don't think they bought it. WTF. Lol, how old were you? Like 12. Way too old anyway. Playing baseball with some friends. All I did was stand up from the catcher position to throw a guy out at second. Completely ripped my Achilles. Ouch. I hope it healed well. Got involved in a bar fight because a friend of a friend called someone else gay in an argument over the jukebox. Then ended up getting hit with the pool cue they'd taken from the friend. Had to be told later why I'd been suckered and that one of the guys had flashed a pistol. Ended up getting a girlfriend out of it. But then we broke up and she had some other guy's kid. 10 years later we hooked up again. And I married her and now I'm divorced. So really the whole story is just bad from start to end. Edit. Thanks for the awards. My first gold. I'll put them to good use. Good lord, that was quite a roller coaster. In one paragraph, we all live his life. Great story. An ex-boyfriend of mine tore his hamstring in his sleep. His bed was under the sloped roof, and in his sleep he'd hooked his foot behind a beam and then turned over. He'd tell people it was a soccer accident. Oof. I think I've had a couple minor back injuries from sleeping / getting up weird. If you are new to Tattletale TV, please subscribe. We have new videos every day. Stay tuned for more coming up next.